Your Starcatcher quiz is here! Not so long ago, I was living my life rather peacefully, just doing my daily routine, day to day, when suddenly a big shining star fell right into my arms like BAM! And, okay, let's put it in a simpler way. I was able to make one of my big dreams come true, to travel to Japan and visit not only Japan itself, but Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney. Yay! And of course, I decided, since it's such a special occasion, why not to bring you along with me on this journey? The city I chose for traveling is, as you already probably understood, Tokyo, the capital city of Japan located in Tokyo Prefecture, which took me around 6 hours to get to from Thailand. I will separate this vlog on 2 parts, Disneyland parks and Tokyo itself, so you can choose what you're most interested in. But if I were to recommend, then I would definitely say that it's worth to watch both. The day began very early for us with a long drive to one of the Bangkok city airports. But as you know, Bangkok is the capital city of Thailand. Thankfully, all the procedures before the arrival were quick and smooth, and in no time we were already inside waiting for our flight. The flight was on Air Asia, the airline I don't know anything about, since it was my first time flying with it. However, it was very nice, but had very little space. The food was great though, I liked it. You can see some views of Japan on our arrival and a nice shiny hotel area. We stayed in a hotel called Hilton Tokyo Bay. But before I actually show you our hotel room, I have a small random story to tell, just so you wouldn't ask why we had whole 5 beds just for 2 people in our room. So I was traveling with my dad, and we were booking the room numbers together with my dad and my mom. However, it was pretty late to actually book anything at that time, so turned out the normal rooms were mostly out, and only family suites were available. So we booked the family suite, and when we arrived we had a very big room and a whole 5 beds, just for 2 people. You could jump from one corner to another through a row of beds. That was pretty interesting, I must say. I mean, not really interesting, but relaxing definitely. The room itself was pretty fun, a lot of animal prints around, and even some magical features included. The receptionist even gave us a letter with a story of a friend we can find in our hotel room. It was actually this girl in the mirror. Basically how the entrance to the main park looked like. I met with my friend and we entered the park. All I had is indescribable. We were met with the fragrances of caramel, popcorn, cotton candy. The first ride on our list became the Pirates of the Caribbean. I hope I pronounced it correctly. I'm so sorry if I didn't. The description of the ride suggests: set sail for adventure and thrills. Captain Jack Sparrow awaits you. It was pretty truthful. We were sailing on a boat across the sea under the starry sky. There was a lot more interesting things too. The battle that was very realistic and set like in the middle of the sea. Pirates themselves, their treasures. However, from thrilling there was little. Only one slide downwards in the very beginning, like shoo, and the fight of the pirates on the ships. But it was still wonderful, very realistic and adventurous. And yeah, we did see Captain Jack Sparrow, a very realistic one. I give it 8 out of 10. Next ride was a jungle cruise, wildlife expeditions. I just have a photo from it. I really wanted to try it out, honestly, but it was simpler than I expected, so I didn't film it. It looks like this on the map. The thing I liked about it is that the living ducks lived on this ride. I was playing a guessing game all the time if it was a real duck or if it wasn't an animatronic. That was funny. I would give this ride 4 out of 10, mostly for ducks. The following one I was unfortunately unable to film due to it being a roller coaster, but let me tell you, it was fantastic. My friend and I waited for it for 100 minutes in a line, but it was worth it. The roller coaster is called Big Thunder Mountain. I think all Disneyland parks enjoyers have at least tried it once. Its description states a wild ride with sudden drops and turns open a runway mine train. And it is fully true. It is not terrifying, which I do not enjoy about the roller coasters usually, but rather nicely thrilling and rises adrenaline in a good way. Like on all good roller coasters, it began slowly and then abruptly changed into crazy speed, and I squeezed into the seat holding onto my rail and my friend screaming the whole way down. We were going up and down hills, the people were raising their arms and I tried too, and it felt so reckless. But there was nothing that would make you feel in danger. On some drops we would slow down and it would make you look around the set and the scenery, which were simply out of the movie and pretty historic. And then all of a sudden, bah! You're taken out of it by an hour drop down. Amazing ride. I would go there again definitely if I had time. I would give it 10 out of 10. Moving on to Snow White's adventures. I really like all Disney princesses, and Snow White is not an exception. So this ride definitely sparked my curiosity for it. It was pretty unique and old, to be fair. A ride through the dark forest and with a surprising strange ending where you, according to the story, hit by a boulder. Sadly, I didn't understand who got hit in the end because everything was in Japanese, and was it an evil queen or we were the evil queen? I didn't really get it. It was pretty immersive, but not much etched into my memory. I would give it a 5 out of 10. My dad and I had a lunch. We returned with my friend to our exploration of the park. The next was It's a Small World with Groot. I simply loved it. Every detail was moving or very cutely decorated. After we boarded the boat and set to our small adventure, this ride fell deeply into my heart. I couldn't even imagine how adorable and heartwarming it would be. From the song about the world to the display of many nations, everything was showing such friendliness. And the characters from Disney movies and Groot only added to it. While having a very short waiting time for meets and greets, we hurried to Minnie's style studio, a perfect place for photos and exploring Minnie's lifestyle. We were both literally walking inside her cartoonish house and got to meet and hug her! We both even received a small chew on the cheek. Apart from it, the workers were very kind. At one moment I was filming Figaro and didn't notice one of the Disney workers, and instead of rushing forwards, he politely waited until I finished. So if you go to the park, please appreciate their work. They're very nice towards everyone. At least that's how it was in my experience. We also wanted to visit the legendary Mickey Mouse himself, but he was having barely any free time and we didn't make it to the shorter lines. The next attraction, as you already saw, is Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast. I would say its description is very humble, but it suits perfectly. Bright magical cups that seem to dance through this enchanted story. My friend and I needed to wait around 120 minutes for it, which thankfully turned out a little bit less, just 100 minutes. All the videos before were a waiting line. By this time, our feet hurt so badly, we were even sitting on the metal rails for the waiting line just to soothe it a bit. Why Disney doesn't have any benches in the waiting lines at all? So sad! Anyway, once again we didn't regret it, and more importantly, we were overjoyed that we managed to stood the whole waiting line to the very end. When we ventured inside the castle, the tiredness was actually gone, and just curiosity left. A beautiful, gorgeous interior of a castle with the characters watching you from their places, and it all made easier to wait. Next, I won't say anything else, just watch. Enchanting, isn't it? 100 out of 10. Very worth it. The last attraction we went on was Haunted Mansion. The expectations were completely different from the reality, but in a good way. I thought it would be scary and full of jump scares, but instead, in one word, it was fun, and in 2 words, it was spookily fun. One of the memorable things was the room with slowly growing walls. Another was the cars that we were on that were spinning in various angles, and also the citizens of the mansion, ghosts or phantoms greeting us. They still manage to scare us sometimes when they appear out of nowhere. I would give this ride a 9 or maybe 10 out of 10. The second day was especially rainy and cold, but it couldn't ruin the mood for another adventure. That day, I went with my dad to the Tokyo Disney Sea! Instead of a main castle and the fairy tale style, we were met with Italian-like city, and a volcano, and a ship, as well as a big broad lake, and many places for photos. The specialty of this park, by the way, is that it is the only park with this kind of sea theme in the world. Plus, I was able to find their Daffy and friends. But yeah, I don't know who is that. If you know, please explain it to me in the comments. I would really appreciate it. The first one on the list that day became Aquatopia. Board a watercraft for a whirling ride with unexpected turns. Nothing like that, honestly. Nothing like that. As you can see, it is a slow ride on the cute water machines that drive you through whirlpools and water. I would call it the water walk. While riding, you get sometimes a refreshing breeze or a better view of the park, but sadly, it's pretty short. I would still give it a 7 out of 10. Well, kiddie rides are nice, but my dad and I wanted to try something more thrilling, or at least something more cinematic. Sadly, the volcano wasn't an option because it was busy and I couldn't get a pass there, since I already got one for Rapunzel. So, we decided to dive under the water on a ride called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Again, waiting 15 minutes, which now felt actually pretty short due to all previous day waits. But a funny anecdote, instead of this line, we originally stood in a line for food that also lasted 15 minutes. And thankfully we did realize it, but only after 10 minutes. But if we wouldn't, that would be a disaster. I mean, it wouldn't be that disastrous, we would just change the line and wait another 15 minutes, but we could choose a volcano at this point. Anyway, we finally, after all, reached our destination. The attraction's description suggests: take part in a mission to explore the fantastic undersea world aboard small submarines. I know, I already gave a flash warning, but flash warning again, and the strobe light too. This ride had a lot of flashlights. Please be aware and mindful of watching further. So we set into an old-fashioned submarine. I honestly, truthfully, thought we were underwater at first until I realized it was just bubbles. Silly me even got a fright of what if the ride breaks and water gets in. Yeah, I think I sometimes get too carried away with my fantasy. But who am I to ruin the magic? Okay, just watch, see it for yourself. In my opinion, it was very unique for Disneyland style, not just another story, which old-fashioned style made only more immersive and enjoyable. Okay, expeditions and adventures are certainly fun, but I'm more of a fairy tale person, and speaking for my lore, kind of a princess myself. So it got us next to visit Ariel's kingdom, and Jasmine's too, but about it later. Ariel's kingdom, unfortunately, I didn't get to explore as much as I would have wanted. Most rides were for children and were all busy, and we also hurried to a place where we booked our lunch at. But hey, it was all shiny with pearls, shells, and colorful glass shards. And it warms up not only the hearts of Ariel's fans, but warms up from the cold weather as well. But the crowds. Oh, crowds. I needed to wait 10 minutes just to get pictures near the cute places. Yeah, a lot. I tried to get the video from the attraction called the Whirlpool, but that's all I got. The ride was mostly like the teacups, but with a longer waiting line. In fact, way longer waiting line, 30 minutes longer waiting line. But the next part was and is my dream, the dreamiest dream of dreams. Fantasy Springs, the new territory. Mind you, I went there, but for rides you needed at least a standby pass. So I got only on one attraction. Sadly, I couldn't do more. They were all sold out. The buses are free, but do I need to explain how impossible was it to get them? However, Fantasy Springs is worth exploring overall. Everything about it. The carved princesses in the mountain, the beautiful waterfalls, and all of the areas, the hotel area, the photo areas, I don't know, playground areas, toilets. I'm joking, please don't explore toilets. Wondrous and truly magical. Our first stop in Fantasy Springs was Arendelle, Elsa's and Anna's kingdom. We went there for food, and it was delicious. While walking, our feet brought us to the unique ride of Sinbad's storybook Voyage. I had no idea who is that. Absolutely no idea. However, my dad surprisingly knew him. The attraction was really similar to It's My World with its style, except telling a story. I really liked the special effects, especially when it was raining. You could feel some rare water droplets landing right onto your skin. The story was nice. My dad wasn't fond of the attraction, however, since he found it rather slow. The tiger was the best. I liked the tiger. I give it a nice 6 out of 10. By the way, Sinbad's storybook Voyage was located in Jasmine's area, which was pretty small, but saturated with details and vividness. Just look at the sand! Isn't it real? You could also play the fun arcade game there. Throwing balls into the small circles and winning gifts. No. To the moment I was most anticipating since I had entered the Tokyo Disney Sea Park. And to the one of the attractions I was most excited about in the whole park. Rapunzel's Lantern Festival. Rapunzel is a long time one of my favorite movies and princesses, so I waited for this attraction like for Christmas. The area around Rapunzel's tower. No words. She sings. She sings. Just listen and it's all the time. She's there and singing. It was our last adventure for the day. Yeah, we decided to leave pretty early because it was getting colder and my feet couldn't take much longer. The day one really took out all my energy. So, we hurried back to the hotel. If you plan to go into Disneyland, make sure you have a rest between the parks. Or train. Or rest while you relax. Because there was so much more to see and to visit. I just wanted to walk around the park, but the distance is crazy. Next time, hopefully, I will make it to the volcano. Yeah, the reason we ended up once again not going to a volcano is 200-minute wait. Yes, 200, actually. I don't remember, but I think it even reached at some point 240. But I might be exaggerating. And the DPA pass was only for the evening, very late. And except the pay, there were no VIP passes, so it was difficult. But who cares? This was the end of my journey in Disneyland for this trip, and it's time to take the point about visiting it in my new travel journal. And check! I really hope I was able to help you dive into this time I had in Disneyland at least a tiny bit and maybe even experience it for yourself. Also, it is on the beginning of my full journey in Japan, and if you're interested in seeing the second part, remember that it will be released about, I think, in a week or 2 weeks from this time on. So, not to miss it, you can always subscribe. And may the stars let us meet again.